What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Benny in the Booth podcast. Just gonna get everything set up and we'll be ready to go. Hope everyone's day is going well, week's going well. Hope all is doing well. I'm officially off for the semester. Also, I have an update towards next week's episode, uh, which I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with next week. Um, still, I'll get to that once we get things, certain things. Meanwhile, let me at least get this set up. Start with Mac today. That's I hate when there's first round draft picks involved. Like, I do not know much of the draft at all. Yeah. For first round draft picks, I'm probably just gonna look it up because I'm not known for first round draft picks. Okay. Let's get this out. Also, I'm happy I didn't go live earlier because news came out like right around before I would have even been recording the episode if I would have been recording usual time. So kind of convenient I waited. I'm just waiting for my while I wait for this TikTok to get uploaded to my TikTok. Which, by the way, I mean, then again, saying much about this at this point, given the app's about to be basically about to be banned, but I do have a TikTok for the podcast. I post basically when I go live for each episode before I actually go live, and then immediate reactions, and then a compilation they sent me of things from this year. Go check it out. Link is in the link tree in the description, whether it's audio or YouTube. You know what? This is just gonna take forever for me to just wait on. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Penny in the Booth podcast, episode 155. Thank you all so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. Next week, before I get into this week's episode, next week I don't know my. I more likely will not be doing an episode next week, given I'm pretty much gonna be out of town the entire week as I'm going to Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio in 4 days. I leave Sunday and I come back Thursday, so there will not be an episode next week. If I could get immediate reactions to things, I'll try to put out immediate reactions to certain results. Maybe I'll even. I hope to, anyways, also try to create a vlog for this trip, as this is gonna be a big trip that's gonna probably tax me, but I'm excited for it. I've been playing it for a while, and I'm happy to finally be able to make it happen. All right, let's dive in. So today's immaculate grid: Braves first round draft pick and played right field in one game is above, and going below is Phillies, Mets, and 2,200 plus hits in the season batting. Okay, so Braves, Phillies. Billy Wagner fits here. TikTok just I posted that's good. Who else fits for Phillies and Braves? I forgot. I like to have chat within my view just so I can see if someone comes in chat. Not always, but sometimes. Phillies and Braves. Uh, oh, I think I just realized someone. I think this dude played for both. Yes, Kevin Millwood. Probably be somewhat high, but I can't imagine too high. If even 5%, I will take that. Could be worse. Braves and Mets. Julio Franco. 3%, I will take that. 200 plus hits in a season for the Braves. Feel like Hank Aaron for sure would have done it. Someone I'm curious if he did it because I know he was a pretty consistent getting hits guy in his career. He did not. The only time he got 200 hits in a season was both with the Cardinals. Okay. But you've done it? Closest was 82. No way, but I'm curious. I actually got close in 1 year. It's paid off. Uh, yeah, 1 point shy. Well, no, he's gonna be obvious. Unbelievable. I'm going to come back to Braves 200 plus hits in a season. Phillies played right field minimum of one game. Mm. Aaron Rowand? No. Delman Young? 0.7. I'll take it. Mets played right field minimum of one game. Would you have? Someone who I've met in person, Ed Cranipool. 0.8, I will take it. 200 plus hits of the season. There was right field minimum for one game. Actually, yeah. I was thinking Sosa, but then I realized this could be a common answer. So instead, I'm gonna go Billy Williams. That works. Okay. 200 plus hits in a season for the Braves. Or I go down the first round draft picks route. Honestly, more tempted to do that. At least. Um let's no. Let's share this tab that I use for first round draft picks. Okay. They don't have had to play for the team. That's a plus. I just saw someone I think that would be a good, interesting answer. JD Drew. That's what I'm gonna use. Okay. What about for Mets? What do you use? Preston Wilson. 0.2%. I will take that. And then first round draft pick, 200 plus hits. I found someone. Avon. Point for percent, will take that. My total rarity scores 112. The top answers for each slot for Braves, Phillies at 18% is Craig Kimbrell. For Phillies, first round draft pick is Bryce Harper. For Phillies, play rate for the minimum of one game is Bryce Harper at 18%. Mets, Braves, 34% is Tom Glavine. Mets, first round draft pick at 15% is David Wright. Mets, play rate field minimum of one game. At 19% is Dale Strawberry. For 200 plus hits a season with the Braves is Ron Cooney Jr. at 40% for 200 plus hit season. That's also a first round draft pick at 47% is Derek Jeter, and 200 plus hit season, playing right field minimum of one game at 35% is Ichiro Suzuki. So that is today's immaculate grid. Let's switch it to daily walk-off, where I have saved Diamondbacks and Orioles. So the tabs today are that they debuted with certain teams, either White Sox, Royals, Mets, or the respective team. In this case, Diamondbacks or Orioles. So the player options: Brandon McCarthy, Zach Greinke, Gerard Dyson, Chris Snyder, Greg Holland, Wilmer Flores, Luis Frias, Paul Sewell, John Garland, Addison Reed, Heath Bell, Stephen Drew. So let's get the people I know out of the way correct. Zach Greinke's Royals, Dyson is Royals, Holland is Royals. Flores is Mets, Sewald is Mets, Bell is Mets. Garland is White Sox, Reed is White Sox. Honestly, let's admit how I have this here. Almost everything correct except for McCarthy and Frias. Flip that and now fully correct. So that took only 2 tries. That was not too hard. So the answers for the Diamondbacks debut with the White Sox: John Garland, Addison Reed, Brandon McCarthy. For debut with the Royals is Zach Greinke, Gerard Dyson, and Greg Holland. For debut with the Mets, Wilmer Flores, Paul Sewald, Heath Bell. And debut with the Diamondbacks, Chris Snyder, Luis Frias, and Stephen Drew. Now, as for the Orioles, it's same header options, just the players are different. David Lau, Michael Gibbons, Cedric Mullins, Tim Bierdak, Ruben Tejada, Gabriel Ynoa, James Baldwin, Ty Wigington, Chris Ray, Chad Bradford, Ryan O'Hearn, and Chris Singleton. So Michael Gibbons would be debuted with the Orioles. Ruben Tejada is Mets. Wigington is Mets. O'Hearn is Royals. Mullins is Orioles. Singleton, I think, is Orioles. Bradford, I think Royals. Honestly, let's submit this and see how it goes. So I actually got some progress here. When I have this kind of situation, I like to switch tabs where there's like 1-1 and 2-2 close by, and then that start to give me an idea of who goes where. So now we're starting to get a bit more of a picture. The question is, what of these 4, what goes where? Singleton White Sox, Orioles, Ray Royals, Ray Mets, Burdick Royals. And that is almost fully correct, except swapping, and Ray, and now fully correct. So the correct answers for the Orioles: debut with the White Sox, Chad Bradford, James Baldwin, Chris Singleton. Debut with the Royals, Ryan O'Hearn, Damon Lau, and Tim Bierdak. Debuted with the Mets, Ruben Tejada, Ty Wigington, Gabriel Ynoa. Debuted with the Orioles, Michael Gibbons, Cedric Mullins, and Chris Ray. And as for daily walk-off batter up, strike zone, and 2004, let's start with 2004 is a pitcher today. They give you the pitching motion or batting swing, and you have to guess who it is. I don't have any ideas off the bat. Let's at least try to get division. Is this NL West? And I got it off the bat, and I should have realized that a lot quicker because he's literally in MLB The Show. That is Eric Gagne. That is a bad not realization by me. It's dumb. Okay. Oh, I was actually just using his swing today, and it'll be a show because I was doing something for Cardinals missions. Brendan Donovan. How about that? How convenient is that? Actually, a solid swing, and it'll be the show. Not the best, but not the worst. Got like a card for his performance in the Springwood game, I think it was, or basically the old Negro League site game. Off the bat, I'm not exactly sure. So I'm just gonna throw out. Let's try to get division. Is this either AL West or NL West? I don't know if they have not registered the change. It is American League, not the AL West. Is this AL Central? No. So that means it's AL East. Is it the Yankees? Yes. Is it Weaver? I have another idea if not. It is not Weaver. Is it Canely then? Canely's not even in here. It's not Clay Holmes, is it? No, yeah, no. It's not Tim Hill. Is that Leiter? No. Oh, it's Devin Williams. I'm stupid. All right, I got 2 out of 3. That's not bad. I will take that. Let's store that here. Okay. So now as for this week's episode. So yeah, next week there will not be an episode, more likely just due to the fact that I'm going to be in Texas pretty much most of the week, and Fridays I don't really have the most time to be able to put out an episode. So next week more likely there will not be an episode of the podcast. If I can, I'll put out a reaction to the semis. But either way, there will not be an episode next week, just so you're all aware. Anyways, so there's a few MLB news headlines to go over since last week's episode of the podcast. Also, happy late New Year, of course, since it's officially this is the first episode of 2025. Happy late New Year, everyone. So, nothing too big happened. Just a few smaller moves, a few signings, and a few trades. Uh, the biggest signing was Seong Kim coming over from Korea. Is signed with the LA Dodgers, 3 years, $12.5 million. Dodgers getting another crazy free agent player, or getting another free agent player. It's kind of crazy at this point. But it actually makes sense because he played with Tommy Edman in WBC with Korea. So now he's literally going to be infield pair with Edman again, this time for the Dodgers. Kind of a smart move by the Dodgers to keep that connection going. But then again, you could have said the same for the Padres with Seong Kim. That would be literally Korea. But it is what it is. Anyways, otherwise though, the rest are pretty much smaller moves. Justin Verlander signed with the San Francisco Giants today, 1 year, $15 million. Charlie Morton signing with the Orioles, 1 year, $15 million. Michael Lorenzen signing with going back to Kansas City, 1 year, $7 million. Infielder Josh Rojas signing with the White Sox for a year. Phillies traded left-hander Logan Gilbert to the White Sox for right-hander Aaron Combs. Rangers traded Grant Anderson to the Brewers for left-hander Mason Molina. And the Dodgers traded infielder Gavin Lux to the Reds, adding to their infield mix of who to put where. For outfield prospect Mike Sirota, who they just drafted, and a comp balance round A pick. That is all the MLB news since last week's episode of the podcast. Let's dive into college football quarterfinals recap. Well, my bracket is busted because BYU already lost. And that bust who I had winning it all. I tried to be gutsy. It did not work out in my favor at all. Not at all. So, in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, Penn State hammered Boise State 31-14. Boise State is the only FBS team this century to have a dozen or more penalties, 4+ turnovers, miss multiple field goals, and allow 200+ rushing yards in a single game, bowl season or regular season or college football playoffs. And yet they had more total yards, first downs, and time of possessions than Penn State. And yet Penn State dominated to win that game still. In the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the craziest game of all the games in the CFP quarterfinals, Texas scrapes by Arizona State 39-31 in double OT. Arizona State coming back from down 16 to force overtime, scored first in overtime. Texas tied it, though, on 4th and 13 and got a go-ahead touchdown in the first play of double overtime. So it's like, was it really worth forcing overtime and making that comeback just to lose still to Arizona State? Also from this game, Cam Scatabo is the only FBS/FCS/NFL player this century to have a two-point conversion, to have at least 100 rushing yards, 75 receiving yards, a pass touchdown, and a two-point conversion in the same game. In the Prudential Rose Bowl, Ohio State hammered Oregon 41-21, way worse than the Tennessee game. And the score doesn't really tell the story. This was all Ohio State all night long. I posted an immediate reaction to it on my YouTube Shorts and my TikTok. Go check it out when you get a chance if you haven't already. Ohio State is the first team to score 4 offensive touchdowns of 40+ yards in the first half, let alone a game against the AP number 1 team ever. No other team had done it before Ohio State, and they did it all in one half. That's how dominant they were. And most of those drives where they got those touchdowns were like 1 to 2 to 3 plays in that drive. That's how much they utterly dominated Oregon. Also, Ohio State this season now has been number 5 Indiana by 23, number 7 Tennessee by 25, and number 1 Oregon by 20. They're the first team to have 3 wins by 20+ points against AP top 10 opponents in the same season since Nebraska had 4 in 1995 en route to the national championship. And then the last game, All-State Sugar Bowl, which got postponed to Thursday in the end at 4 p.m. due to the truck incident in New Orleans, which prayers to the victims of that story. And I think it was the right decision to postpone the game till Thursday. I would have done the same. And I think they made the right choice. It was originally supposed to be Wednesday, last game Wednesday. But either way, Notre Dame hammered Georgia 23-10, also right after Kirby Smart's dad had passed away. Both of those happened, yet Georgia could not even win. And it was a bloodbath. It was not a competition. Special teams and defense for Notre Dame in this game, 3 field goals made from 40+ yards, kickoff return touchdown, 4 sacks, multiple turnovers, no more than 10 points allowed. No other FBS team this century has done all of that in any single game. Notre Dame is the first team to beat an AP ranked opponent in 6 different months in the same season. Number 20, Texas A&M in August. Number 15, Louisville in September. Number 24, Navy in October. Number 18, Army in November. Number 9, Indiana in December. And then this game in January. That is it for the quarterfinals. I went 2-2. Overall, I am 4-4, which already I'm going to have one wrong being Penn. I had both the Orange Bowl. I did not predict the matchups correctly. So the schedule and predictions for the semifinals. The other one, even though it's the matchup I predicted, given how things have gone, I changed it. My pick for the weekly pick. Capital One Orange Bowl between number 7 Notre Dame and number 6 Penn State will be at 7:30 on January 9th on ESPN. I'm picking Notre Dame because as much as Penn State's got a great story, I have a feeling Notre Dame's going to be too much for Penn State. I'm curious, while we're here, what is the line for Notre Dame's a 1.5 favorite, while Ohio State's a 6-point favorite over Texas. Wow. And in terms of the Ohio State-Texas game, originally I had Texas winning. That's before knowing how good Ohio State's been doing this playoff run. And even though I can't actually flip in my actual bracket, my current prediction, I'm picking Ohio State to win this game and make it to the national championship against Notre Dame. But that game's going to be 7:30 on January 10th on ESPN. And oddly enough, I'm more likely to be right by that stadium 4 days later because I hope to stop by outside the Cowboys Stadium when I'm in Dallas. So that's going to be it's kind of funny how that works out. But anyways, that's college football playoff update, recap of quarterfinals and semifinals predictions. NFL Week 18 recap and full playoff bracket predictions through the Super Bowl. And this one, I was sitting back and forth with playoff predictions. But let's go through the few notes of recap. This week, I did not have a good weekend predictions, though I did manage to at least be 500. I went 8-8 overall this season. I'm 185 and 87. So, Week 18 recap. Ravens hammered the Browns 35-10 with 41 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions this season. Lamar Jackson is the first player in NFL history to throw 30-plus touchdowns with a touchdown-to-interception ratio of 10 or higher this season. Commanders beat the Cowboys 23-19. Brandon Aubrey is the first kicker in NFL history to make a mile's worth of field goals in a season. His 40 made field goals this year have totaled 1,769 yards. 12 regular season wins for the Commanders is this season for the first time since 1991 when they won 14 games and won the Super Bowl in that same season. Texans beat the Titans 23-14. Nick Westbrook-Akine ended this season with 28.1% of his total receptions going for a touchdown, 9 touchdowns to 32 catches. It's the highest rate in a season by a player with 30-plus catches since Jerry Rice in 1987's 33.8 percentage, 22 touchdowns to 65 catches. Saints beat the Buccaneers beat the Saints 27-19. Mike Evans now has 1,003 receiving yards this season, which now marks 11 straight seasons with 1,000-plus receiving yards, tied for longest such streak in all-time in NFL history with Jerry Rice. And the Lions beat the Vikings 31-9. Jared Goff is the only QB in NFL history to have over the course of his career, same season or not, a season of 4,000 passing yards, a season with a 70-plus completion percentage, a season with a 110-plus passer rating, and a season with 15-plus wins as a starter. Jahmyr Gibbs is the second player in NFL history to at least 100 catches and 25 rushing touchdowns in his first 2 seasons, joining Hall of Famer Edgar and James. Vikings in this game 4 times reaching at red zone with no touchdowns, 3 times having goal to go but no touchdown, 2 failed 4th and goal attempts, and 1 missed field goal. No other team in NFL history in the last 3 years has done all of that in the same game. The Lions also clinched the NFC North and the 1 seed in the NFC with this game, their first number 1 seed they've had in their franchise history, also most wins they've had in a season in their franchise history in 15. So I went 8-8 predictions, overall 185 and 87 heading into the playoffs. So this is how the standings worked out in the end, just the playoff teams. 1 is the Chiefs, 2 is the Bills, 3 is the Ravens, 4 is the Texans, 5 is the Chargers, 6 is the Steelers, 7 is the Broncos. In the NFC, Lions 1, Eagles 2, Buccaneers 3, Rams 4, Vikings 5, Commanders 6, Packers 7. I'm going to go over the schedule for the first round, and then I'll dive into the predictions. Put the schedule, January 11th, Chargers at Texans at 4:30 on CBS/Paramount Plus, and then followed by Steelers at Ravens, 8 p.m. on Amazon Prime Video. On Sunday, 3 games, Broncos at Bills, 1 p.m. on CBS/Paramount Plus, Packers and Eagles 4:30 on Fox, and then Commanders at Buccaneers 8 p.m. on ABC. And then Monday night is going to be the Packers is going to be the Vikings-Rams game, 8 p.m. on ABC, ESPN/ABC/ESPN Plus. Now into predictions. I don't think I have water here, but I'll check because I have a dry mouth. That didn't do much. So, I'm not even. I'll read it off. I'll show you for the video watchers. Let's find it. Here we go. This is my official bracket. So for Texans Chargers, I'm picking the Chargers to win this game. I notice I have to fix that in my notes. One moment. Okay, now we're good. Texans Chargers. I have the Chargers winning. Texans are just too banged up, and too much of a sophomore slump for me to pick them. Ravens, Steelers. As much as it's like coin toss for AFC North fans that are not Browns, Ravens, or Steelers fans. I think though the Ravens are the much better team, especially since they weren't the one that collapsed in the end. So I am going Ravens. Bills, Broncos. I have the Bills. The Broncos are a great story and great to see them in the playoffs for the first time since they won the Super Bowl, but I don't see them getting past Buffalo. So I have the Bills. On the NFC wildcard side, Rams, Vikings. I have Minnesota winning. As much as like the Rams are a good team and have like an interesting story this season, their division just fell apart. They were part of the falling apart, and they're lucky to even be here. And I have the Vikings winning. Buccaneers, Commanders. This time I have the Commanders winning, unlike how last time the Buccaneers won. And then for Eagles, Packers, I have the Eagles. So that sets up Chiefs, Chargers, Bills, Ravens, Lions, Commanders, and Eagles, Vikings. Chiefs, Chargers, as much as I want to say Chargers, I don't think they're going to be enough to beat the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs. Bills, Ravens, I have the Ravens. As much as the Bills are a great story this year, I think Derrick Henry's going to be enough to bulldoze over the Bills. Lions, Commanders, I have the Lions. Not much of a thought process there as much as Daniels has had a great season. And Eagles, Vikings, I have the Eagles winning. Setting up Chiefs, Ravens once again in the AFC Championship game, but this time it would be in Kansas City. And Lions, Eagles in Detroit. For Chiefs, Ravens, I sat back on this because the thought process in my head was, do I say Chiefs keep going because that seems inevitable, or do I not go with the inevitable picks? And I am not going with the inevitable pick. I am picking Ravens to win that one, and I'm picking Lions to beat the Eagles and the Lions to beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl, and that is my playoff bracket. And here's to see for you guys if you're watching the video. That is this week's episode of Benny and the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're new to YouTube, leave a like, subscribe button, leave a notification button to notify when I go live and or post a new video. If you're new in audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, hit notification bell so you're notified when I post on there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And I'll see you next week's episode 156, or not next week, or 2 weeks, sorry. 2 weeks episode 156. Bye-bye.